What's up, everyone? This morning you got a little bit of fitness. Now you're going to get some faith. So I may upload this to YouTube just depending on how long it goes. I don't like to feel rushed, and sometimes I shorten my videos just so I can get them on Instagram, whatever, so I can share. But I think I may go YouTube just so I don't have to rush. And if you would like to watch it, you can click on it and take a look and maybe learn something that'll help you today. So, with 2026 coming in, I just wanted to speak some words of motivation, share a little bit of the word, and I had another light bulb moment happen, so I wanted to share that, so maybe it helps someone have a light bulb moment as well. And let's get into it. So, first, I would like to share Romans 12, verse 2. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you'll learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. And I wanted to share that today because going into 2026, if you're just starting your walk with Jesus Christ, or if you've been in your walk with Jesus Christ, don't let the world deceive you. We're in a world where there's social media and influencers, and beware of going down their path. Ensure that you're on a Jesus-led path and don't conform to the ways of the world. And don't make lightly of things that the world says don't really matter, that, man, it's no big deal that you do this or you do that, when in all reality it is. Everything is really that deep. So I encourage you, stay in your word. Don't copy the behaviors and customs of this world, because it's going to lead you down the wrong path. And remember, we want to stay down that narrow path. So also during that verse, when you learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. So your will, and transforming you into a new person by the changing the way you think. I really like this because when I first started walking with Jesus Christ, I wasn't too sure how to change certain behaviors that I was doing in order to align myself with Jesus. And it wasn't until I finally connected with what I was reading recently and a sermon that I listened to. But the biggest thing was, how do I change my behavior after following Jesus Christ? So, first, in that sermon, I'll try to see if I can link it below, but it was a sermon by Pastor Robert Madu from Social Dallas. Great pastor. I've been listening to him for several years now, and I was like, man, I just need a sermon to listen to today, and that one popped up. And it just connected with exactly what I was reading. Me and my family were talking about certain things, and it just connected. So I'm super excited to share that with you, and I hope you go and actually watch the full sermon. But the title of the sermon was called Prove It. And specifically at minute 28, he talks about identity. So just like I read in Romans 12 of, how do I change the way I think? In turn, how do I change my identity, which will flow out to my behavior? So he talks about that. And he's going into Matthew 4 when Jesus is tempted by the devil. And he highlights a phrase that comes up often. So the phrase is, if you are the Son of God. He says that, jump off, for the scriptures say. And then later on, he also says it, I think he says it 3 total times, I believe. So, if you are the Son of God. Again, if you are the Son of God. And he highlights this. And he goes into explaining identity. Because if you don't look back at Matthew 3, when Jesus was baptized and the heavens opened up, this is what God said. This is my dearly loved Son who brings me great joy. So he's defining, like, this is my Son, my loved Son. He's already loved. And you fast forward to Matthew 4, and the devil is tempting Jesus with the idea of if you are the Son of God. So he's putting it into his brain that maybe that's not your identity. So the reason that connected with me is because he talks about how to change your identity. How do you change your soul? You do that by actually being in your word. You're reading it, you're learning it, you're consuming it, which in turn, with a combination of a few other things, prayer, worship, serving, it will change your behavior. And for me, that didn't click until recently, and that's something I've really been focused on, is getting into my word and actually studying it, learning it, praising, worship, prayer, all the things combined, which has ultimately changed my behavior. This is something I wish I would have known way back when I first started my walk, because when I first started, I went to church, but that was it. So in turn, I had a big struggle with my behavior. I knew what I was doing wasn't right, but I didn't know how to completely change it. So that is why I'm highlighting that one, because I think we ask ourselves a lot, how, if I'm a Christ follower, why do I continue to do certain things? Or why am I still going down this path? It's because we have to change our identity. We do that by being in the Word. We do that by prayer. We do that by serving, all the things that are going to help you shape your identity in turn, so you change your behavior. Just showing up to church is a good behavior, but it's not going to change your identity if that's all you're doing. So I wanted to highlight that. I encourage you to go and watch that. It's Pastor Robert Madu, the Prove It sermon on YouTube. I'll add a link to get you directly to it if you want to check it out. Part 2 of what I wanted to share is from Galatians 1 that I was reading this morning, verse 10. Obviously, I'm not trying to win the approval of people, but God. If pleasing people were my goal, I would not be Christ's servant. I like this for many reasons. I'm not trying to win the approval of people but God. When you go down your walk and you're following Jesus Christ, when I first started, there was many things where I felt secluded. I felt like I didn't have anyone around me, excluding my family. But when I made that decision, I lost friends, and it was just like I was taking a different path, which is what you're doing. And we have to remember that we're not trying to please people. We're trying to please God. So when you take that journey and you take that dive into following Jesus Christ, it's going to be amazing. But there's going to be times during that transition period you're going to wonder, man, should I go back and hang out with that group of people? Should I go back and go do those things I used to be doing? No. Don't worry about the approval of people, and instead worry about if God is going to be able to look down and be like, yes, that is my son, that is my daughter, whatever it may be. You must not worry about the approval of people. Next, concerning that is the want to share. Whether it's wearing a faith-based t-shirt, whether it's getting on YouTube or Instagram, don't be afraid to share the word and spread the gospel and just share what's on your heart. Because, again, we don't want to base what we say on what other people are going to think, you know? And when we share with the true, genuine love of we're sharing the gospel, we're sharing the word, we're sharing our journeys, then we don't have to worry about what other people think. Also, I encourage you is don't just share for clicks, for likes, and that goes for anything. Do it because out of your own genuine love, that whether you get 2 views, whether you get 2 million views, do it out of your own kindness of your heart, because you enjoy it and that you genuinely have a love for Jesus Christ and you want to share his word so other people would experience it. So, out of all that, for 2026, do you stay true to Jesus Christ? Follow down that path. Follow the narrow path, because it's going to be a challenge. It's not going to be easy. If anyone tells you it's easy, then maybe we can talk to them together, because maybe they know something we don't. But I encourage you, stay your path, follow Jesus Christ. Remember, don't do things for other people's approval. Do it for the approval of God, and don't fall into the trap of worldly things. I hope 2026 is blessed, and you're going to get more faith and fitness content, and I hope you have an amazing day.